Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Freely Nourished, the podcast that empowers you to break the cycle of dieting by teaching you to nourish your bodies well. And today I have a very special episode for you about one of the components of nourishment that I probably get the most questions about, and that is protein. So we will be talking all kinds of things about why protein is important to have in your diet, and then the stuff that you all really want to hear, which is how to get it in on a daily basis in the quantities that you need. I will talk a little bit more at the end of the show about our current offering of a meal planning digital course, as well as our upcoming masterclass called Balanced Eating for Busy People. So both of those, the digital course is much more kind of a deeper dive into pulling meals together and how to kind of practically make them happen. The balanced nutrition for busy people is much more targeted towards people who are on the go often, right? So the meal planning made easy kind of encompasses various strategies kind of for various folks with multiple, maybe barriers to nutrition. And then the balanced nutrition for busy people is just kind of that Cliff Notes version. If you're eating on the go, traveling a lot, things like that, it kind of gives you some tips and tricks there. So I will discuss more of those at the end, but they're somewhat pertinent to our discussion today, which is a big part of how to get good nutrition, right? And that is, making sure you're hitting your protein goals. So without further ado, protein is something that is very, very important for your nutrition. It is one of our key macronutrients. So if you don't know, macronutrients are your protein, carbohydrates, and fat, and those are nutrients that are providing your body with calories. Not all calories are created equally because your body uses them in different ways. So your body uses primarily fat and carbohydrates for energy. So it uses those for kind of your day-to-day energy needs. Your body uses protein very differently. Your body uses protein to build things. So when we think about protein, a lot of times kind of the stereotypical image that comes to mind is, like muscle building, bodybuilder, that type of stuff. And yes, protein is very important for muscle building, but your body uses protein for basically an essential component of the structure of every cell in your body. So your skin cells, your eye cells, your whole digestive system, your heart, your lungs, all of those cells need protein in order to function properly too. Protein is also what your body uses as, enzymes and, signaling molecules and things like that. So your body uses lots of protein for lots of different things. There's different types of what are called amino acids. Amino acids build up protein. So each protein rather is built up of amino acids, and those amino acids, some of them are essential, meaning that we have to get them from our diet. And then others of them are non-essential, which means that your body can make them from other amino acids. So it can convert them. That's not particularly relevant to today's topic, but I just kind of want to make that distinction clear, just because I feel like sometimes you hear about it in the popular media. But anyway, protein is very important. Most adults need about, if you take your body weight in pounds and divide it in half, that is likely close to the amount of protein you need per day. There is some variation in that, and you may not hit that number every day, and that's okay, but that's just kind of to give you a rough estimate of how much protein you need per day. So for example, if I weigh 200 pounds, I divide that number in half, so I need about 100 grams of protein each day, which is a pretty high number for most of us, right? And that's neither good nor bad, but it can be tough to get to that number. If you've ever tracked how much protein you're eating, you know that sometimes it can be really challenging to get to that number. I will say that, the standard kind of 3-ounce size of meat. So if you take your hand and look at the palm of it, that is typically about 3 ounces. If you look at something like a cell phone or even like a bar of soap, that is also about 3 ounces. So anything that's kind of in that size range is going to provide you about 20 to maybe 30 grams of protein, depending on the meat itself. So that said, most of us, if you're eating meat, 20 to 30 grams per palm size serving. And if we eat maybe a little bit larger than a palm size at our meals, that is perfectly okay too. But I want to be clear that your body can only process about 30 grams of protein at one time. So there's no harm in eating more than that 3-ounce serving, but your body's not going to be absorbing all that protein as protein. It may be kind of converting some of it to fat because it can't utilize all of it all at once. So the important thing with protein is to definitely get enough, but then also kind of spread it out. Um, Obviously, if you eat meat or animal products, those are great sources of protein. But vegetarian sources of protein are very important as well. So if you do eat eggs, eggs are a great source of protein. There's also nuts, nut butters. Again, if you choose to eat cheese, that can be a great source of protein. Let's see, things like fish if you were a pescatarian, as well as, like I said, nuts, nut butters, beans and legumes are a great source of protein. And then, of course, there's all of the kind of faux meat products that are largely soy based, which is fine. Soy is a great non-meat source of protein. It's actually the only non-meat source of protein that is complete in the sense that it contains all of your essential amino acids. So while we don't want to overdo it on soy, if you're not eating meat, doing the soy-based proteins is a great option as well. So when we think about kind of planning our meals in our day, we want to think about getting probably roughly about 20 grams or more of protein with each of our meals. Now, again, for most of us, for lunch and dinner, that is not particularly difficult, especially if you eat meat. But even if you don't eat meat, as long as you are planning some type of intentional non-meat protein source, so like I said, a meat alternative, beans, legumes, nuts, things like that. As long as you are kind of intentionally putting a protein source in there, you are likely hitting that 20-gram goal. That said, for breakfast is where some of us can struggle. Obviously, as I mentioned, eggs are a great source of protein. But each egg only has about 5 grams of protein. So you have to eat 4 eggs to get to that 20-gram goal, which can be tough, right? There's nothing wrong with doing that, but that's a lot of eggs, right? And some people don't like eggs or they don't want to eat eggs every single day. So my solution to that is honestly a protein supplement in a lot of ways. So any type of like protein powder can go great. You can make things, this serves as like a flour substitute. So you can make things like pancakes or waffles with it. I like to add it to my oatmeal very often. You can certainly do like a protein shake is a great option. Things of that nature. And then if you don't particularly like the flavor of protein powder and you want something that's not really like flavored, or is going to alter the taste, collagen peptides are a really great option. Those are again a supplement. They're sold same aisle as the protein powders, and they offer a little less protein, so they're going to be about 10 grams per serving. But if you have, let's say, they don't have any taste, so they dissolve readily into water. I know a lot of people who will put them in their coffee or even in juice or something like that. So let's say you get 10 grams, or you can add it to oatmeal or cereal or things like that as well. And it's not going to add that kind of chalky protein powder like flavor to it. And I know a lot of people who would do that and then maybe a hard boiled egg, which is, a little bit more realistic than 4 eggs, or that plus some toast with some peanut butter that probably also has 5 to 7 grams on it. So you're kind of getting closer to that 20 grams of protein by that way. Another great source of protein that kind of complements breakfast is yogurt, particularly Greek yogurt can have upwards of 12 to 14 grams of protein per serving. So again, you can add that plus some collagen peptides that don't change the taste. And then boom, you've got your 20 grams of protein right there. So those are kind of some options of ways to add protein into your breakfast, which is usually where people miss protein, is if we're talking about meals. So those are kind of some ways that are not eggs to add protein to your breakfast. You can also do breakfast meats, things like sausage and bacon and things like that. You just want to be careful because sometimes the fat content of those foods can be quite high. Obviously, anything like a turkey sausage or things like that is going to be significantly leaner. There's not as much fat, so there's not going to be as many calories. But the taste is usually different. So that is just a preference point as well. Again, most people don't want to eat sausage or eggs every day. So I like to give you kind of some other alternatives. The other things to think about are snacks, right? So if you have, so again, my goal for protein each day is 100 grams of protein, right? So, and some people it's going to be higher. Some people it's going to be lower. Some people it's going to be higher. So if my goal is 100 grams and I eat, let's say 20 grams for breakfast, 20 grams for lunch, and 30 grams for dinner, well, that leaves me about 70 grams of protein per day. I'm still short 30 grams. So where am I going to get that extra 30 grams? That's where your snacks come in. And I think probably one of the biggest mistakes I see clients make across the board, regardless of their goals and regardless of where they are with them, is they don't utilize their snacks as an opportunity to add nutrition to their life. They are just kind of grabbing something because maybe they're hungry. And then that's fine. That's a great reason to snack, but kind of be intentional with your snacks. And when in doubt, choose a snack that has a protein component to it. I like for people to have two food groups with their protein, with their snacks. So usually a protein and something else, right? So it can be a protein and a fruit, a protein and a vegetable, a protein and a starch. Those are kind of your options. The options remain the same, right? So things like nuts, nut butters. So for example, peanut butter and crackers, peanut butter and an apple. Those are things that are going to kind of add that protein component to it. Yogurt, cheese, again, very good protein snacks. Hard boiled eggs can make a great snack. Deli meat and cheese can make a great protein snack. Beef jerky, or really any kind of jerky, it doesn't really matter what kind of meat it is, can be a great kind of on the go snack. Things like trail mix, which have typically nuts mixed into them, can be a great snack. Those little packets of like tuna or salmon, or even they make kind of like the pre-made canned chicken salad, those can be a quick kind of on the go protein snack. So things like that. So you want to get somewhere between 20 to 30 grams of protein with your meals, and then depending on your needs, you're probably going to want to get about 10 grams of protein with each snack. And how many snacks you eat is going to kind of depend, one, on how many meals you eat, but then also what your protein needs are too. So those are just kind of some quick tips for getting your protein in throughout the day. If you found this helpful and you want to kind of take a deeper dive into all of the other components of building a balanced meal, I highly encourage you to check out our Meal Planning Made Easy digital course. It is really designed for people who are just kind of tired of stressing about deciding what to eat. They are just, they know that their diet needs more balance. They're not quite sure where to start. Or maybe they kind of know what to do, but it's a matter of practically, how do I make that happen for me? Right. So the course is really well laid out. It kind of has two major parts. The first part is talking about how to pull together a balanced diet and kind of design an outline or a plan that's going to work for you based on protein, but then also all of your other food groups. And then the second component of it is a huge variety of strategies of how to make that happen, right? So we're going to talk a lot about kind of if you are on the go, if you cook at home, if you have a varied schedule, if you have a travel schedule, all of these different types of things. That's the kind of, feed into, why we eat the way we do, and what we can do to kind of plan for success. So if you are somebody who's kind of like, wow, this is really interesting, but I need more information, I highly encourage you to check out that digital course, because I think it's a really nice bridge of giving you a huge overview that will make a really impactful difference on your nutrition without having to go to the extent of, the cost of one-on-one coaching, which is also available. If you click the link below, I have all of my coaching options. I always offer a free discovery call to talk to you about your goals, about my practice, and just to make sure we'll get a good fit. But if that is just kind of out of your price point at this time, but you want more and kind of want that tailored, individualized plan, definitely check out that Meal Planning Made Easy digital course. Another offering, particularly if you are somebody who is on the go all the time, and that's kind of your major struggle when it comes to nutrition, definitely check out the masterclass, that's Balanced Nutrition for Busy People. That kind of talks a lot about balanced nutrition, but it's kind of streamlined and focusing just on if you're eating out, if you're traveling, if you just don't have time to kind of prepare a lot of your own meals, what are your options and how can you kind of make sure that your nutrition is still on track? So With that, I leave you. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And if you have any suggestions, I welcome your comments. Please check out those two offerings. They are available on my website as well as the link below. And I will talk to you next time. Have a wonderful day.